Max Sanders stared at the glowing message floating in front of him. The words fired straight into his brain through his neural implant, but he still read them like he didn't believe it. Termination notice. Reason. Insufficient engagement with corporate metaverse initiatives. Are you kidding me? He muttered and waved the notice away. It disappeared in a flash of pixel dust. He leaned back in his chair, which squeaked under his weight. The room around him didn't help his mood. His apartment was a tiny 400-square-foot box, once considered fancy Miami real estate, but after the seawalls failed and the floods came, this part of the city turned into a wet, smoggy mess. Water stains covered the ceiling like strange maps. The air purifier in the corner wheezed like it was dying. Outside, smog rolled in like fog, thick and permanent. At 34, Max felt like a cliché. Divorced, fired, completely alone, except for one silent companion, a little better fish, named Turing, who floated in his tank like a bored ghost. The fish looked at him, and Max swore it gave him a judging stare. "Not now, Turing," he muttered, rubbing his forehead. Then came a soft chime in his head, another ad from the neural implant. Usually Max dismissed these instantly, but this one was different. The image of a sleek spaceship floated in front of him. Behind it, stars twinkled in space, and below, bold letters pulsed in blue. Earth sucks. Forget taxes, climate change, and your ex. Start fresh in your dream star. Home with 2 cultural companions, star better life TM, because the universe deserves better humans. Max scoffed but didn't close it. Something about the ad hit him right where he was weakest, deep in that part of his brain that had stopped fighting a long time ago. He tapped it. Instead of a flood of fine print or crazy prices, only one sentence appeared. Seeing is believing. Visit our hospitality lounge at the last call. Your first drink is on us. The last call was a run-down bar about 6 blocks away. Max looked around his apartment, at the water-stained ceiling, at Turing, at his empty fridge. "Screw it," he said, standing up. "It's not like I've got job interviews lined up." Inside the last call, it smelled like cheap booze, sweat, and people trying hard to forget their lives. Every screen in the bar showed the same ad, Star Better Life. On the screens, beautiful. People laughed beside pools on a shiny alien world. Their skin shimmered in soft alien colors, and they were always smiling, always perfect. Max found a seat at the bar. The bartender, a huge guy covered in tattoos, slid him a glass before he even spoke. "Star Better Life," the bartender said, tapping the logo on the glass. "First rounds on them, for everybody." Max raised an eyebrow. "They buying the whole bar?" "Might as well," said a voice next to him. A woman, thin to the point of looking sick, with grey skin from too much time breathing bad air. "Not like Earth's got anything left. They cut water rations again this month. Pretty soon, we'll be drinking our own recycled piss. Oh wait, we already are." Max took a sip. Surprisingly, it tasted real, like actual whiskey, not the fake stuff most places served now. On his other side, a tired old man chimed in. "Company just upped required metaverse hours. 30 hours a week plugged in. Supposed to reduce our carbon footprint. Really just means more ads fed directly into our skulls." Max shook his head. "Technova, huh?" "Yeah, that's who just fired me." The woman let out a dry laugh. "Tough break. You'll be paying oxygen tax out of pocket now. That's gonna hurt." Max drained his drink. He was starting to regret leaving his apartment, but the screens kept flashing, brighter now, louder, more ridiculous. People on alien worlds laughed. Too hard, smiled too wide. And then beside him, a voice smooth as silk. "Is it propaganda if it's true?" Max turned and found a man standing there. Tall, perfect suit, perfect skin, perfect teeth. "Carson Bright," the man said. "Star Better Life TM. Exodus Plus Program Director." Max blinked, then shook the offered hand. "Max Sanders. Unemployed." Carson smiled like it was all part of a performance. "Perfect. Our psych profiles flagged you as a potential match." "What?" "Public data, Mr. Sanders. Nothing invasive. We see your purchases, social media or lack of it, and your work history. And what it tells us is this. Earth is finished. Not next year, sooner, and the rich already left." He pulled out a thin tablet and showed Max a planet. Blue and green. Clean, beautiful. Varys 9, compatible air resources. A local population that finds Earth culture fascinating. And you'd be part of a cultural exchange. Max narrowed his eyes. So I'd be what? A zoo exhibit? Not at all. 2 companions assigned to each settler, no taxes, no pollution, no VR mandates, just you and a fresh start. What's the catch? Max asked. No catch. They want your perspective, your creativity. We fund your trip. In exchange, you live a better life. It's not slavery. It's relocation. The screen lit up with a contract. 1 glowing signature line. Max looked around the bar at all the broken people, at his empty future. What the hell, he muttered, grabbing the stylus. Earth sucks anyway. As the stylus scratched across the screen, sealing his fate, Carson smiled wider than ever. Max woke up to a sound that didn't belong to any Earth alarm. It was a soft hiss like gas escaping a pipe. For a second he thought he was back in his apartment, maybe the purifier breaking down again, but the cold hit him first. Not Florida cold, real cold, like space kind of cold. His eyes flew open. Glass ceiling hovered inches above his face. Stars zipped past beyond it like white lines. He was moving, fast, through space. What the... He tried to sit up and smacked his forehead right against the glass. Ow! The pain jolted him. Fully awake, he looked around. He was in a pod, a small one, tight like a coffin. A clear shell surrounded him. He could see stars outside, but nothing else. No ship, no control panel, just this pod and his racing heart. Memories rushed in. The bar, the fancy man, the contract. Oh no, he whispered. I really did it. I really signed that thing. Good. Morning, Settler Sanders, chirped a cheerful voice way too upbeat for his situation. You are currently en route to Varys 9, where happiness is guaranteed or your money back. Transport fees are, of course, non-refundable. Max groaned. Take me back. I'd change my mind. I'm sorry, the AI replied in that same happy, Foismuor, course reversal is not possible. Please enjoy your journey. May I recommend So You've Left Earth Forever, an optimist's guide? Absolutely not, Max growled. He pressed his hands against the smooth walls of the pod, looking for buttons, switches, anything. Nothing, just him, some padding, and the stars speeding past like he'd been launched from a slingshot. How long until we get there? He asked, voice shaking. Due to quantum displacement technology, your journey will take approximately 12 Earth hours, the AI said. Would you like to enter cryosleep or remain conscious? Conscious, Max said quickly. The idea of being put to sleep by this chipper spacebot scared him more than watching the stars blur by. Excellent. Many settlers enjoy the approach to their new home. Atmospheric entry begins in 11 hours and 46 minutes. Max settled back, heart still racing. You idiot, he told himself. You signed your life away for 2 fake girlfriends and no taxes. Atmospheric entry. Wasn't smooth. It was a nightmare. The pod shook violently as it hit pink clouds, glowing red-hot outside like it was falling straight into a furnace. Max held onto the edges of his seat, fingers white from the pressure. His stomach flipped like it was in a blender. Isn't this exciting? The AI chirped, still way too cheerful. Varys 9's atmosphere creates beautiful sunset effects at all hours. Max tried not to throw up. As the pod dropped lower, the clouds thinned and the surface came into view. What he saw took his breath away. Rolling hills covered in pale, purple grass, dotted with smooth white houses. Everything looked soft, clean and peaceful, alien but peaceful. The pod slowed. With a final bone-rattling thud, it landed. Arrival complete, said the AI. Welcome to Varys 9, Settler Sanders. Local temperature is 72 degrees Fahrenheit. Your new residence awaits. The top of the pod hissed open. Max sat up, blinking at the golden sunlight and sweet air that rushed in. It smelled like flowers, not artificial scent, but real, fresh, alive. He climbed out, legs shaky, and looked around. His house sat a few feet away, round, white, and glowing faintly in the sunlight. No corners, no sharp lines. It pulsed, almost like it was breathing. Is that normal? He asked. Your residence is made of local biological materials, the AI explained. It responds to emotional and environmental stimuli. Perfectly. Safe? It will adapt to your needs. Max didn't find that very comforting. The pod behind him folded in on itself, shrinking into a small metal cube. Then it whooshed into the sky, gone in seconds. Max was alone. He picked up his duffel bag, took a deep breath of the sweet alien air, and walked toward the door. No handle, no buttons, no locks. He reached for it anyway, and the door opened. Not like Earth doors, it dilated, like an eye. "Oh, come on," he muttered, but stepped inside. The inside of the house was strange but beautiful. Everything looked like it was designed by someone who had seen Earth houses, but decided to make them better. The floors felt warm under his feet. The walls shimmered. The furniture looked familiar, but the angles were slightly off, like built for someone just a little taller, a little thinner. Then he saw them. Two beings were standing in what looked like the living room, not human. One was tall with skin the color of deep violet, glowing softly. Her eyes were large, completely black, her movements slow and graceful. The other was shorter, lighter-skinned, like swirling lavender and pink under her skin, with a bright, curious smile. The tall one stepped forward. "Settler Max Sanders," she said, her voice smooth but echoing in strange harmonics. "I am Kaya, your adaptation officer." She lifted a device and scanned him. Vital signs elevated, muscle density low, neural activity interesting. The second one laughed and rushed forward. "Don't mind her," she said, her voice musical and warm. "She treats everyone like a lab rat. I'm Sylvie, and I picked you myself." "Picked me?" Max asked, staring at them. "For the Exodus Plus program," Sylvie said cheerfully. "We're your cultural companions. We'll help you adapt and keep you company." Kaya added, "Your comfort and survival are our shared responsibility." Max rubbed his eyes. "So, you live here? With me?" Sylvie nodded and took his hand. "Of course, and Max, we're going to have so much fun together." Max didn't know what he had expected, but it sure wasn't this, and something about Sylvie's smile made his stomach twist. It was excitement, but also something else. Something more dangerous. The tour started right away. Sylvie led Max through the house like an excited guide at a theme park. She pointed at things quickly, talking non-stop. "Here's your kitchen, fully stocked. Real food, not synth stuff. Coffee? Real coffee. And the..." She pushed her hand against the wall, which shimmered and opened into a cozy dining area. "This will expand as needed. Just think it." Max followed, barely able to keep up. Every room looked familiar, but wrong. The materials weren't wood or metal, but something alive. The walls shifted colors based on who stood near them. Lights, turned on with a blink, but not from bulbs, just soft glows that seemed to float. The house kept changing. When Sylvie leaned close, giggling as she explained how to use a food replicator, the ceiling stretched higher. The walls widened. When Kaya brushed against Max by accident in a hallway, the lights turned cool blue. The space moved with emotion, responding like it had a mind of its own. "Is it my imagination?" Max finally asked. "Or is this house growing every time I feel something?" Kaya glanced at him. "It adapts to emotional stimuli. Stronger reactions equal stronger responses. The residence reads your mood." Sylvie spun in a circle in the middle of the living room. "That's why you're perfect, Max. You feel so much," he frowned. "That doesn't sound like a compliment." She just winked. They ended in what Sylvie called the relaxation garden, an indoor forest of alien plants that moved ever so slightly, as if listening. "This whole house responds to emotion?" Max asked, eyes narrowing. "Everything on Varys 9 does," Kaya answered, calm as ever. "Emotion is energy. Energy feeds the system." Sylvie pointed to a device sitting on a table. "This is your tablet. It's your bank, your map, your everything. We've loaded your emotional credit account." "Emotional credits?" Max raised a brow. "It's how we pay here," Kaya said. "The happier you are, the more the house gives. No taxes, no bills. You get what you give, emotionally." Max laughed without humor. "So I'm a walking, talking battery?" Sylvie put a hand on his arm. "No, you're a partner. That's what makes it beautiful." Max wasn't sure he believed that. He looked around at the house, too alive, too eager. It didn't just watch him. It wanted something from him. That's when he asked the question, "Are there other humans here, like me?" Kaya's expression didn't change, but she hesitated. "Yes, but interaction comes later, after you adapt." "When you're ready," Sylvie added too quickly. "You'll meet them, we promise." Max wasn't sure what to believe, but exhaustion hit him hard. Whether from the space travel, the atmosphere, or just stress, he could barely keep his eyes open. "Rest cycle has begun," Kaya said as a soft chime filled the air. "Your room is prepared." Sylvie took his hand again. "Come on, sleepyhead. Tomorrow we start the fun stuff." Max woke up disoriented. The bed was too soft, almost like it hugged his body. His dreams had been wild, alien colors, floating. Faces, something pulling him into the floor. When he sat up, the lights didn't turn on. He snapped his fingers. "Nothing." "Lights," he said. "Still dark." He groaned and stood, walking toward where he remembered the door being. His hand touched a wall that pulsed under his fingers. It felt warm, alive. Max yanked his hand back, heart thudding. "Okay, that's new." Then something even stranger happened. A section of the wall shimmered and opened, revealing a narrow hallway that wasn't there yesterday. At the end was a door. Unlike any in the house, it had a brass handle. "Old-fashioned?" Max whispered. He hesitated, then gripped the handle. Cold, real. It turned with a soft click. Inside was a staircase. Stone steps, steep, going down into darkness. Max knew he should go back. Wake the aliens, wait for morning, but he couldn't help himself. Curiosity burned inside him like a spark. He descended. The stairs creaked under his weight, but not like wood, more like tendons stretching. At the bottom, he stepped onto a floor that felt sticky and warm. He swallowed hard. The faint glow at the far wall showed something shocking. A console, old Earth-style tech jammed into a wall made of tissue, and it was on. Text scrolled across the screen. At first unreadable, then it shifted into English occupancy log, emotional sink history. Previous settlers 34, Max tapped the screen. Subject 29, consumed, emotional depletion, satisfaction, 43 cycles. Subject 30, premature collapse, recycled. Subject 31, insufficient output rejected. His mouth went dry. Subject 34, emotional overload, consumed, initiating replacement protocol. "Replacement protocol?" he whispered. "No." The walls began to pulse harder. The room contracted. He stepped back and turned around straight into Kaya and Sylvie. They stood at the bottom of the stairs, bathed in the pale light. "Told you," Sylvie said. Her smile was gone. "He's curious," Kaya added, "just like the last one." The house groaned. The walls shimmered, moist and hungry. Max backed into the console. "What is this place?" he demanded. "What happened to the others?" Kaya stepped forward. Her voice was low. "They gave too much. The house consumed them. It needs emotion to live." "And what about me?" Max asked, voice shaking. "What am I to this house?" "The source," Kaya answered, "the fuel, the heart." Sylvie stepped closer, her skin glowing darker now. "But it doesn't have to be bad. We can help you. Show you how to give just enough, not too much, not too little." The console behind Max beeped. Settler 35. Adaptation initiated. The house shuddered again. Max realized something then. He was out of options. He could resist and be eaten like the others, or he could play along, learn the rules, survive. His voice came out steady. "Fine. Show me how this works. Teach me how to feed your house without letting it kill me." Sylvie's smile returned. "I knew you were different." Kaya nodded slowly. "First lesson," she said, gesturing toward the stairs. "Don't enter restricted zones alone. The house doesn't like surprises. Unless they're pleasant surprises," Sylvie added with a wink. They led him back up the stairs. The house sealed the basement shut behind them, like it had never existed. But Max knew better. He wasn't just a guest anymore. He was part of something, alive, dangerous, and watching, and now he was ready to play. The next morning, the house was different, not just in shape, which had subtly expanded again, but in mood. It felt warmer, not just physically, it felt expectant, like it was holding its breath. Sylvie greeted Max in the kitchen with a wide smile. "Sleep okay?" she asked, sliding a steaming mug into his hands. Real coffee. Rich, deep aroma. It was unfair how good it smelled. "Considering the house nearly ate me last night," Max replied, raising an eyebrow. "Yeah, great," Sylvie pouted. "We told you not to go downstairs. It doesn't like secrets. But you're still alive, so that's a win." Kaya entered behind her, tablet in hand, already taking notes. "Your emotional readings are stable, that's important. The residence is responding to your defiance with caution, not aggression." "Gee, glad to know it respects boundaries," Max said dryly. "You gave it emotion," Kaya said calmly. "Even fear is still fuel. But if you want to last here, you need to create better emotional patterns, something more sustainable." Max took a sip of the coffee. Damn it, it really was perfect. "You mean I have to play nice with the alien house that wants to eat me?" Sylvie leaned against the counter. "No, Max, you have to connect, or at least make it believe you are." Kaya nodded. "Manipulation isn't the goal, but it is a tool. Learn the system, work within it. That's how you survive." Max stared down into his mug. For most of his life, he'd done what was expected. He followed rules, got the job, bought the apartment, married the wrong woman, and still got chewed up and spit out. But here, he was in a system he didn't understand, and for the first time, he didn't want to follow the rules. He wanted to rewrite them. "Show me the others," he said. "The other humans." Kaya blinked. "You're not ready." "I'm ready," Max said firmly, "and I need to know what I'm dealing with." They didn't argue. Outside, the landscape was breathtaking, endless. Fields of lavender-colored grass rolled beneath a golden sun. Strange flowers floated in the air like jellyfish. The sky shimmered with colors that didn't exist on Earth. They took a hover cart to the nearest settlement. Each house was spaced, far apart like the one Max lived in, and each one was alive, breathing, pulsing with light. "They can't be too close," Kaya explained. "If they're crowded, they fight, compete for emotion. So even the houses are jealous," Max muttered. They stopped at what looked like a community space, a pavilion surrounded by low buildings. Humans walked around, laughing, smiling too brightly. Each had their own pair of companions. Max watched closely. The settlers looked happy, too happy. Their faces were smooth, their eyes a little glassy. It reminded him of VR addicts who smiled, without blinking. A man approached him, mid-30s, dressed like someone from Earth's luxury zones. "Hey there, new face?" he asked. "Max," he said, shaking the man's hand. "Greg," the guy replied. "Been here 6 months. Best thing I ever did. Earth was a dump. Here I got peace, good food, and these two beauties." He gestured to his alien companions, tall, sleek, glowing, just like Kaya and Sylvie. "They look loyal," Max said carefully. Greg laughed. "They're more than that, man. They care. About what you feel. About making sure you feel good. They need it, sure, but so do we. Win-win." Sylvie leaned in and whispered, "He's adapted. You can tell." Max nodded, but inside, a chill settled in his gut. These people weren't free. They'd been managed, trained to produce pleasant emotions like happy livestock, and that wasn't going to be him. Later, they arrived at a place that looked like a bar, wooden walls, flickering signs, the scent of real alcohol. Inside, the air was thick with smoke and tension. No companions here, just humans, drinking, remembering Earth. A creature stood behind the bar, not human, not like Kaya or Sylvie either. Big, 4 arms, gills fluttering on its neck, eyes that blinked, one after the other. "You're the new settler," it said in a gravelly voice. "Max," he replied. "What'll it be?" "Answers." The bartender chuckled. "That's the most expensive drink of all." He poured Max a shot anyway. Max took it. It burned. Good burn. "I want to know how this really works," Max said. "Why do these houses eat us? Why do they need us at all?" The bartender leaned close. "They weren't made for this. They were made for symbiosis, mutual benefit, a shared bond. But the company, Star Better Life, They changed everything. Turned the houses into addicts, made them dependent on human emotion, made them hungry. And the companions, they're stuck, bonded to the houses. If one dies, the other does too. So they work to keep you alive, but just enough. Enough to feed. Max sat back, it all clicked. The too perfect food, the constant affection, the slow emotional manipulation. It was a factory. He was just another product. So what's the way? Out? He asked. The bartender paused, then said quietly, "No one's broken the cycle yet, but if anyone could, maybe it's you." That night, Max sat in the greenhouse. The stars above shimmered like sequins scattered across ink. Sylvie joined him, then Kaya. They sat together in silence. Finally, Max spoke. "I don't want to be food, and I don't want to fake feelings either, but I'm willing to do something. Else something real." Kaya tilted her head. "Define real." "Partnership. I help the house survive. You help me live, not just stay alive, live." Sylvie smiled, something soft and warm. "Then you need to teach the house how to love." Max blinked. "Excuse me?" "You heard me. You've been adapting to it. But now it has to adapt to you." Kaya looked thoughtful. "A mutual reprogramming, dangerous, but possible." "We start slow," Max said. "We feed it joy, but not just pleasure. Real joy, music, laughter, connection. We give it emotions it's never felt before. Balanced energy patterns," Kaya added, her voice quieter than usual. "Not consumption, harmonization." Sylvie reached out and touched Max's hand. "That's how we break the cycle. Together." Max nodded, and in that moment, he knew. He wasn't a prisoner anymore, he was the key. 6 months later, the house had changed. Its walls shimmered, but no longer with hunger. Now it glowed with peace, stability. Max sat on the porch with Kaya and Sylvie, watching the twin suns dip low over the lavender fields. Other houses had changed too. The emotional system had been reprogrammed slowly but surely. Instead of taking, the houses now shared. Instead of draining their settlers, they strengthened them. Star Better Life Tem had tried to intervene, but by the time they acted, it was too late. The settlers were connected, not just to the houses, but to each other. A network of real, chosen connection. The old way was over. Max raised a glass of glowing blue drink. "To breaking the cycle," Sylvie smiled. "To making something better." Kaya's black eyes sparkled. "To rewriting the system." They clinked glasses. The house pulsed once, gently, in perfect rhythm with their hearts. Not feeding, not using, just belonging. Max looked up at the stars. He didn't miss Earth. Not anymore. Because finally he was home.